when
Let's see.
it's
Oh.
7.
It's 6:56. We're cranking up there.
Yep.
Alan, check your text.
Okay, and all right, that's good. All right, and now Julie is joining us. Yay! All right.
All right, Julie, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm well. Long time no talk.
Yeah, right? Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, I'm making you the co-host, Julie.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. And then I am now going to start recording, and well, we actually can hold off on recording for a second, but we're live on YouTube in case anybody's there, and and the webinar is live for attendees. And as soon as you want, I can click to start recording, but we can't start the meeting till 7
6
anyway.
o'clock. Right.
Right.
So might as well do it all at once.
All right, I'll start. Yeah, exactly. I'll start recording right before then. So let's see. Bob, you're still connecting to audio, so that's not a good sign. Let's see.
Hey, Bob, you can come down here if you want. If you can't connect, Bob, you can come down here.
You didn't ask me, Justin.
Let's
Well,
see.
you're not 4 houses up either.
He may not hear us at all because of his connecting to audio. Let's see. Do I have Robert LeBlanc? I do have a.
He hasn't texted me or anything, so
Yeah, I'm texting him to try to disconnect and reconnect.
his wife is with him.
That's who hooked me up. Not his wife, my wife.
Yeah, I have to do it on my own.
Too much information.
I'm just saying, who's my wife, honestly.
Erica's here too. Great.
Excellent.
Sean said he was. He asked for the link again, and so I presume he'll show up at some time. All right. Let's see.
Second, Bill Doyle calling me. Hold on. I'm trying to mute.
Somebody's called in.
Yeah, that's Sean. I'm going to rename him to
Okay.
be. Sean, can you hear us?
Yes,
Okay, good.
And what timing is it? Okay, great. I'm going to start recording. And so
Yeah,
we're ready.
At 6:59, I'll start and
Sorry, Dan.
Yeah,
Bill Doyle just called. He doesn't have a link. He can't get on.
I will send him it again in just a second.
Okay, thank you.
I just turned on recording. So you let me go to the.
take care of Doyle and I'll start the meeting, Dan, when
Okay,
it
yeah.
turns 7, all right?
Bill Doyle.
All right, you can do that and I'll start the meeting. It being 7 o'clock, I will start call the meeting of the CPC to order. Just to let everybody know, it's a Zoom webinar, and when you speak, when you initially speak, if you could state your name and address for the record, I'd appreciate it. And I'll call the meeting to order. And Dan, the first item on the agenda is the roll call.
Absolutely. Sean?
present.
Present. Thank you. Amanda?
Present.
Loretta?
Present.
Excellent. Bob? Bob is still having a problem. Okay, so.
His name is there, so
Yeah. Well, currently he's not. I'll have to mark him absent for the moment. Bill Doyle, I just sent the link again too, so we're holding off on him. Tom,
Present.
Dan, I'm here. Erica,
Present.
and Justin.
I am here.
Great. So we currently have 7, and we're trying to get Bob and Bill hooked up. But we do have quorum, so we can move ahead.
Okay, with that, look for a motion to approve the minutes of the May 4th meeting.
So moved.
Do I,
Second.
and as presented?
As
As
presented.
presented, as far as I'm concerned.
All right,
I wasn't
I
here.
read them. Second.
all right, so did I.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, the next item is new business, public hearings and meetings. The first one is the Waltham Housing Authority Beaver Brook roof replacement application. This is an addendum to the original application that came in, we voted on, and I'm gonna, with that, I am going to let Mark Johnson from the Waltham Housing Authority explain. Mark, if you would, please.
Absolutely. Actually, we have the executive director here with me, John Gollinger. So we're gonna chime in together.
Well, John, tell John to move over so we can see him. We can see you. Get Gollinger over there.
I'm gonna let Mike do all the talking.
Okay. My name is Mark Johnson. I'm the assistant executive director for the Waltham Housing Authority. Joining me here is the executive director, John Gollinger. We have come before this commission in November 2019, and we were awarded $1.2 million for roof repairs at 2 of our developments. One is Beaver Brook, and the other one is Prospect Hill. And we're coming back before the commission on the addendum, as Justin had mentioned, because we fell short of our projections with the pricing of the job. And if you turn to page 4 of the package, it gives a financial breakdown of the monies that were spent. So we had 2 jobs. The one at Prospect Hill Terrace was we spent $406,000. The Beaverbrook project is these figures are fairly accurate. Is going to be $1.5 million, and the difference between what we've been awarded and what we need is $771,000 roughly. The reason for that is described in the narrative, and it's because we found hazardous materials at the job site, the delay with the COVID process, the safety protocols, the increase in materials. I could go on and on. There are a plethora of reasons why these costs have increased. Anybody who's in the industry right now, the construction industry, will tell you the very same thing. Prices have almost doubled on everything. So that's pretty much where we are. I'd be happy to answer any questions for you regarding this matter.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Any questions from the committee?
Yeah,
Tom?
Mark, has the project been delayed as well as the cost overrides?
Yeah, it's been delayed as a result. We did actually go to bid. We got bids in the other day. We do have a little bit of backup to take care of this, but it's our wish that the CPC move forward with the approval of the additional money, because the housing authority is really limited in its resources for capital projects.
What percentage is the overage from what you were awarded the first time?
Well, from what I'm showing you here on this page, it's almost double. It's almost double the amount. We asked originally for $1.2 million. We figured that $500,000 would take care of Prospect Terrace, and the remaining balance of $700,000 would take care of Beaver Brook. Those figures, after we determined that there was asbestos on the site, and with the COVID conditions and so on and so forth, the COVID conditions and things of that nature, the price significantly increased.
We
Is
actually
it
had
the
a
same
bid for one-
contractor on the job, Mark?
No, actually, it is not. And to John's point, we had a contractor that came in about 2 weeks ago when we bid this at like 1.1, and he pulled out. He said he made a mistake, and now the price is the second bidder is like 1.4. There was a lot of money left on the table, and I can understand why he pulled out.
So who was the contractor that you're going with?
We are
You know yet,
going
or-
with, well, the contract that pulled out was MDM. The second bidder, I can get that to you. I just don't have it right in front of me.
I guess I'm confused as to why it had to go back out to bid.
It didn't go back out to bid. What we're doing is we're accepting the second lowest responsible bidder, because the first one pulled out.
And who was the first
If I
one?
can interject- If I can interject, Tom, this has been the only bid,
I'm sorry?
okay?
Hi,
I'm gonna
John.
I'm gonna put my arm. This has been the only bid. What was the cause of the delay was all of the testing that we had to do, the analysis by the architect, gathering the cost of the other architect to determine exactly what the cost of remediation would be, and what we had to do to comply with the regulations, the environmental regulations. That took a long time, and it delayed the bid somewhat. And as a result, obviously, we were delayed too in terms of manpower over this past year. Things haven't gone as smoothly as they usually do.
Yep.
Not that they ever go smoothly, but so consequently, we were a bit delayed in getting to this particular bid. That was the result. Prices did increase significantly over the year. It's almost inconceivable that they went up that much. And that's why we're in the dilemma we're in.
That I can appreciate. One of my daughters is building a house with her husband, and she was telling me they're over by 60,000 just in the framing lumber. So I do get that. I do get that. So did the project even start?
No, it has
It never
not
did.
started yet. We have not awarded the contract.
So back when you were awarded the first monies, it never even started.
No, so we did this in phases. We used the
Yeah,
same.
that's what I thought. I
architect-
thought you started.
Yes. So wait a minute now. We didn't start phase 2. We completed phase 1 already.
Phase
That
one.
was
And who was the
project.
contractor there?
MDM Engineering.
Did phase one?
They did phase 1, and then we rebid for the second development. Okay.
Okay.
And that
Yep.
was also MDM Engineering, who was the apparent low, but they
Yep.
determined that they had made a mistake in the estimate. So they retracted their bid, and they did it legally. They did it through
Yep.
ED. So
Okay.
Sorry
So
for
that's
confusion.
where I was confused. I was behind the ball. Okay. Thank
All
you.
right, Bob LeBlanc.
I'd like to ask the question, how many bidders did you get during phase 2?
I believe that there were about 6 of them, Bob.
6. And what was the variation?
The grouping was 1.1, then it was 1.4, around 1.5, 1.55, and then 1.6.
What are your thoughts about putting it out to bid again?
I would, I'm afraid if we go out to bid again, that the number's gonna be even higher.
I mean, 50-50, could be higher, could be lower.
True. And this is-
My concern is, how are the roofs? My concern is leaks into the apartments.
Right. We've already had a few leaks into the apartments already. These are original membrane roofs from when the development was built. So they've reached the end of their useful existence for sure.
We probably have 100 patches in the various buildings on those roofs, rubber patches. And at some point, it just becomes counterproductive, and we'll have a failure, I think,
That's my concern.
at some point. I don't know when it would be, but will have failure.
Bob?
I have a question about value engineering. Has that been addressed at all? Was it addressed in the bid stage?
I'm sorry, Bob, what was your
engineering.
question?
Was any value engineering done? In other words, okay, the specs say that you want Y, but is there product X or product Z that could do the job
That we could have,
a little?
there were alternate materials, and the lowest price material was the one that we ended up using because the cost was so significant using the other.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a process that actually, I don't know if everybody knows the process, but this is a process that gets vetted by DHCD, which is Department of Housing, Communities and Development, because this is it's a state development. And they have a whole series of checks and balances that they make us go through to make sure that we comply with procurement laws and that we're getting the best value for the tax dollars.
Bob? Bob, are you all set?
I'm good.
All right, Dan?
So I went back and looked at the 2019 applications and to remind myself of the name, and the other building was the Prospect Terrace roof project, right?
Yes, correct, yeah.
And what's the status of that project?
That project
Right.
is 100% complete.
Oh, sweet, great. So this application is to try to finish the whole job up.
Yes, to finish phase
Okay.
2, the application, so there are two different developments. The phase that we're trying to complete now is Beaverbrook.
Got it.
That's the Grove Street one. You can see from Grove Street. It's low, it's down below. If you drive Grove Street from Newton on the right-hand side, going towards Bright, it's down there. And it's a flat roof, and that's problematic in itself, so.
Right.
Right behind Sacred Heart.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I would look for a motion.
Well, first, I'll just report there are no attendees in the webinar, so nobody that might want to ask
Oh,
questions.
yeah, okay, yeah. Excellent, Dan. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Any questions from the audience?
No text.
Anybody want to speak? Anybody want to speak in favor of the proposal of the project?
I've driven by it. Looks ancient, probably overdue.
Okay. Anybody want to speak in opposition? Anybody just have questions? Erica?
Do we have the money?
Yeah.
We do.
We'll need to just clarify that. I just want to make sure at some point, we don't have to talk about it now, or we could have.
Again,
This would be after
Well-
July 1.
Erica, this project is going to go expected to end. Mark?
Justin, I did not hear you clear that last comment.
Okay. I'm asking Mark Johnson when he expects the project to finish.
I'm estimating the project to be done early November if we
All
get if we get awarded and get started right away.
So, Erica, that will fall into the
Yeah.
funding, and I'm going to get into funding at the end. So,
Fair.
okay.
The only thing, Justin, for me, the funding,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
The funding is an issue whether, to vote yay or nay. Are we in solid ground now? I know we were running a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
behind.
At the end of the meeting, Tom, I will get into the funding. All right. Did you hear me?
I'm just scared of voting for something for whatever we're looking for now, and
No.
the next
It-
project, we don't know the funding yet. So we'll do it.
We'll have funding, we'll have new funds come in October and November. So the funding will be there. The answer is yes.
Thank
And
you.
I'll explain it in detail afterwards. All right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Bob.
A couple of questions for Mark and John. I know, you've stated that you've done numerous repair work there. I know, it appears that the majority of the work has to be done pretty much right away. I mean, is this something that is there a way we could postpone a portion of it? I mean, I think a year from now, a lot of this, COVID-related price increase stuff could go away. And, hopefully, we could all realize, a significant reduction in cost for this work. Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility, but if we do a portion of it now, and then push it off, I don't know what the contract is going to want to increase his mobilization and demobilization job.
No, you'd put the thing out to bid again, and I mean, I'm just asking, is there a portion of it that's significantly better than the really bad areas? So say you do, 50% of it now, and maybe a year from now, look at 50% of it again, where the costs, these COVID-related costs should dissipate or be, extinguished in a year's time. I mean, I'm a contractor myself. I'm experiencing the same thing. It's brutal,
I would say that 80% of the job at Beaver Brook entails the replacement of the roof. And that's the big problem. A lot of the other additional stuff is environmental cleanup, things of that nature. I'm not sure that can be delivered. That might be the first thing that has to be done. So I'd say that that's a little problematic, Bob, but there may be some smaller amounts that we could defer, or smaller portions of the job we could defer a little bit. But again, Mark's right. The contractor bids in a particular way, we would probably have to bid it again with alternates.
For phasing purposes.
So you don't think like a phased approach to this would be could be advantageous?
Mike?
I mean, I just think it's going to prolong the inevitable. And could we save some money? Yes, but I don't know that. I don't think anybody knows that for sure. I'm all in favor of getting this done and getting it done now, so that we can keep our residents safe. That's my objective. And I would love to save some money if possible, but my main objective is keeping the residents safe and dry and in safe, decent housing. That's what I would like to see.
I mean, I think that's what we all like to see. It's just, is there a good way to, meet all objectives? Keep the residents safe, keep the cost down, and satisfy both ends of that stick.
So just,
I mean,
I was just to clarify, did I hear that there has been some leaks?
that's correct.
Is it been getting progressively worse, or has it been just
Yeah, and what you can see is where the material has faded or failed, the material has failed, you can see that there are weeds growing up and through the roofing decking.
All right.
That's pretty consistent throughout the development. And as John mentioned, we've made, close to 100 repairs over there, patching and this and that and the other thing, and it's counterproductive at this point. We'll do whatever you got. We'll do whatever this commission wants us to do. But I would just really like to move forward with this and get this buttoned up before the winter.
I was talking with somebody about construction stuff, and actually they started seeing a small decline happening. So maybe in a few months, by the time you actually start the work and go out to bid, so the actual costs might come down. Or is it such that the contract with somebody, if is it set, let me say for materials come, 4 months from now when it's actually being done, right? Or 3 months, whatever. If the materials come in less, we'll get billed less, correct?
Right, no, because what will happen is it's a snapshot in time. And whatever the prices are right now is what the contractors are bidding on.
I see. Okay.
Conversely, if it goes up, we don't pay more money.
Got it. Right. Right. So, and it's, who knows, it might go up, might go down, might stay the same. With a few months is,
That goes by in a blink of an eye. And my concern are the tenants.
yeah.
Erica,
Well, I'm in favor of getting this done, as you say, Justin. I worry about the tenants. We supported this before. I don't see it's a hard pill to swallow, but it is the reality that we've all seen and we all acknowledge. And cities all over the country are dealing with this reality right now, and it affects road work, it affects housing authorities, it affects everything. So I generally am in favor of just getting this done, doing it now, and not nickel and diming or waiting too long.
anyone else? Okay, seeing no one else, I would look for a motion. Okay, not everybody at once.
I'll make a motion to fund this application.
Second.
In the amount of $7,071.
No, 700.
$771,050.78.
And Bill Doyle second. Dan made the motion. Bill Doyle seconded. Discussion. No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, no opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you, folks. John and Mark, thank you for your presentation, and thank you for getting on and all that. So, okay, the second item on the agenda is the French American Victory Club HVAC replacement addendum application. And I see we have people from the French Club. Who would like to present?
Well, I prepared the application so I can start it.
Okay, Yep.
So the French Club is looking to replace a very old HVAC system. We had two quotes. We asked for a quote from, one of the quotes was from our member who we felt would give us a fair proposal. That was from Randy LeBlanc. And the other is from PR Douglas Heating and Air Conditioning. That came in slightly lower, and we have decided to go with PR Douglas. The total funding request is for $84,650. And the president, Alan, or the manager, Robert, can speak to the technicalities.
all right. Bob LeBlanc, you had your hand up?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Questions? Okay, well, I have a couple.
Yeah, I do.
The quote, did you send any more quotes out than two?
Yes, we did. We requested some quotes. We received no response. We had one other quote from
Mike Richards.
Mike Richards, and he quoted on half the job and felt that the whole job was too big for him.
Okay, all right. The other thing, we are not going to be able to cover a hot water heater, just to let you know. Any idea of what the hot water heater runs? I do, because I just replaced one. So,
An on-demand one.
I'd say maybe a couple thousand.
well, I just paid 1,200 for an on-demand, so let's make it 15.
Okay.
So,
Can just that there's that phrase, I mean, I know there's a lot of different systems that you might call on demand. Are we talking like a gas one that just fires up when you turn it on?
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
that's, yeah.
Right,
Got it.
yeah.
All right. So my suggestion to the committee is an arbitrary number, which it can go from $1,000 to $2,000 for an on-demand. Why don't, if no one is opposed, we're not going to be able to cover the hot water heater. So if the other stuff I went through is definitely coverable. So the request is for 84,650. If we use 1,500, you'd be at 150. You'd be at 83,150. Would you mind revising your bid to 83,150?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. we would
Doreen
definitely do
or
that.
Alan?
Well, Robert's the manager. He has most of the intel.
What's he say?
He said, Bob, because you're the manager.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't hear what he said. Well,
Is that all right? So,
yeah, to revise the quote, yes.
okay, all right. So committee, the only thing I can see that's not coverable would be the hot water heater. So if we deduct, so the application now was for 83,150.
That's reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, Justin, and the clarification, I think I understand, but I want to hear why the water heater isn't, so it's just clear for
Because
everybody.
it doesn't protect the building. It's
Correct, yeah,
So
good.
that can't be included.
right,
Okay.
But the heating system and the air conditioning does, so that can.
got it, right,
Okay.
yeah, that makes
So-
sense.
Okay. Erica,
Understood, yeah.
So
Erica.
if we approve 83,150 or whatever the number is and the water heater ends up being more, or I mean, do we take more? Like it's we reduce that from the quote?
yeah,
example-
we have to.
We pay whatever the cost of everything except for the water heater is, whatever
Correct.
that is.
Right.
You guys
So
come back with the reimbursement.
To expedite this, Erica, what I've done is taken an arbitrary number, but a guess. So they're on their own for the hot water heater. So we can get this. If we had to wait, now we're waiting till September. Now you're running possibly, it won't get installed to October, November, and they'll need it. So that's why I suggest that.
Sounds good. I mean, they'd only be paying. We'd only be paying for what we can pay for. So
Correct. Exactly. And this, yeah. Bob LeBlanc.
I just want to say I agree with the $1,500 deduct, so that gets us within the confines of the covenant. I think that's fair. I don't think anybody has a problem with that.
Okay.
I
ahead.
probably should have mentioned before we started this dialogue that I am an active member of the French Club. Well, a dues-paying member of the French Club, and I have, as it was disclosed in the application, I have recently made a donation to the club to help assist them and allow them to stay open during the pandemic. I am not a member of the board. I don't really have an interest in the club other than the fact that I have been a member for over 40 years. So I just want to disclose that, and I feel that I don't know how other members of the board feel, but I feel that that shouldn't inhibit my ability to vote on this.
Great.
Okay. Any comments?
Well,
Go ahead, Dan.
it's all about the appearance of conflict of interest. You as a member, I guess there's a slight benefit, but anybody could rent the place now, so it's and that kind of stuff. So technically in the future, it would probably be good to have filed something with the city saying that there is no conflict. There's a document you can do.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that's on a membership, Dan. That's on a board or something. I think you have to.
Oh, on a board.
a
Yeah,
membership-
maybe board. That's true.
Yeah,
Right.
Dan, along those lines, I did that with the Sons of Italy. I'm a member a paying member, not a board member, and same type of thing. I did not I disclosed with the board, but I did not fill out anything.
Right, okay, if you're a director,
Exactly. A director or a board member, you would have to disclose and file with the law. Actually, get a note from the law or file with the law department, and they file or they tell you to go to the ethics. But Erica, you probably
yeah,
know this better than I.
The guidance I got with First Lutheran was to send an email to the city clerk saying there's an appearance. It's not a conflict of interest. It's an appearance of conflict of interest. Just to say, I'm not a board member. I had no part of this decision. I know you guys heard me read it all out. That's the email I sent them just so that they have it on file. And again, it's not a conflict of interest. It's an appearance. The email title should say appearance of conflict of interest. That's the recommendation that the law department had for me.
right,
Might I suggest, Bob, a recommendation? If we've got quorum without you and you won't be deciding vote, if that's the case, if the numbers are such, you might want to just recuse yourself to avoid, us getting, this tangled up in something. I mean, it's up to you, but it is close in my mind. I've been at this for, public hearings for my whole life.
Well, if I could just
Up to you.
make a comment. I voted on things involved with the club in the past. Nothing has changed as far as my membership goes. Yeah, like I said, I've been a dues paying member for over 40 years. And the only difference here is, somebody mentioned it in an email, and I just wanted to address it. And again, full disclosure, it was in the application. I did make a donation to the club because I was concerned as a member that with the COVID, I didn't want to see it close, and I don't really see where it's an issue where it hasn't been an issue in the past. And Member Prianti just mentioned that he also has voted on things involved with clubs that he's been a member of. So, like I say, I'm not in the decision-making end of it. I'm not a board member. I'm not an executive officer. So I really don't see where anything has changed. Like I say, I wouldn't have even mentioned it except somebody had written an email and drawn a little bit of attention to it. And I do respect the opinion that if we have a quorum and my vote is not required, I wouldn't have a problem pulling out. But I really don't see that as being where we are here.
well,
All right.
so,
Dan.
yeah, I'm the one that draw attention to it just because that's the kind of person I am. I'm sorry. but sorry, Bob. So, but you know what, I'd be fine if you just, after the meeting, send an email to the city clerk doing exactly what Erica did for the Lutheran Church. That way, you're covering the issue, and that's fine.
I can do that.
That's great. That's fine. Works for me.
Yeah, and again, it's working for me too. I don't want to be in conflict. I don't want to go outside the covenant of the CPC. It's just I'm just making the point that there's precedence here, and I'm in line with the precedent. Okay.
Any other comments? Now that we'll get off that, want to move this thing along if no one minds. Okay. Anybody want to speak in favor of the application that may be in the audience? Anybody? Go ahead. Somebody say
I
something?
guess I will just say the French Club's been a city supporter for years and years, but you guys must know all that.
Yeah. But actually, let me just say, and we all, just to let everybody know, Mort Isaacson did send a letter in support. That's the Waltham Historic. This is how it qualifies. It's historic and would qualify for CPC funding. So protecting the shell of the building, or the envelope as they call it. So again, anybody in favor? Seeing none. Anybody opposed?
Hey,
Sean?
well, hey, Justin, just a quick point of clarification. That was written by Mort.
Correct.
Without us having a chance to vote on that as a commission. So I just wanted to make sure that was out there and on record.
And I apologize. It was Mort's, but it was also, the commission voted on it back in 2016 or thereabouts, supporting it and validating the historical significance of the building. So that was.
I'm sure we'll all, I know from past conversations, we're all in agreement. It's a historic in nature and in the physical building itself. I just wanted to point of clarification.
And I apologize for not making that clear, but it was more, and he did say it in the letter, and hopefully you all got the letter or saw it, so I apologize for that.
There was, one thing from Mort's letter was that he said to make clear that the work needs to be done in accordance with the Secretary of the Interior treatment of historic properties.
Correct, but I'm not sure in this case that the air conditioner has to be historic. So I glossed over that. If it's historic, we're all in trouble.
So we can go get chunks of ice out of the Charles and.
Right, get the ice.
I think they can't be damaging the facade and
which it will not.
So
right.
I'm assuming.
Go ahead, Erica.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming that this project does not. I'm asking the applicant, assuming this project does not do any harm to any significant harm to the structure, and that would be in compliance with the Secretary of the Interior. But I would encourage you to look up the rules just in case.
Dan.
And certainly, Mort and the Historical Commission are always available. If there's any questions on something relating to that, we're always there to answer questions and help.
Excellent. Good point. Thank you, Sean. Dan, did you have another comment?
A couple more things. One, could the CPC have our next in-person, hopefully eventually in the future, public input meeting at the club?
Sure.
Which would be April or May of next year.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Dan,
Happy to have you.
isn't that a conflict of interest asking them to give us their space for free?
Before we vote?
No, we've asked all
Before we vote? I mean.
I think that would be.
Good point. Very good
right? You took the little quiz and all that stuff.
Oh, before the vote. Oh, yeah.
It's like
We'd love to
extortion.
have you.
I did take
Before or
that.
after.
It's like extortion, Dan.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, they could say no. No, that's a good point. That's good. I think we've done that before to.
We did it with the Girl Scouts. We did it with the Girl Scouts, but it was after the vote.
Oh, was it after the vote? Yeah. So my bad. Okay.
No one's going to get upset about it.
Right. I mean, because we don't benefit. CPC doesn't benefit from that per se.
There'll be no free drinks or anything, folks. Just to let you know, I'll make it. Okay, that will keep us in the clear.
Well, I thanks Bill for catching on that. The other thing, this is definitely not a conflict of interest thing. This is more of in line with what we've been talked about or advised from the public input meeting before is about ward counselors being notified about projects, applications. And so I just wanted to bring up is that something that the ward counselor for that fine establishment, do they know this is a project going on?
I did send them a letter.
Oh, great.
I did.
That's fantastic. That's what I just want to know. Thank you.
That's Mr. Paz, right? Our
Yeah.
counselor.
I don't know.
I believe it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I did. I notified him.
Thank you. Anything else? Bob?
So I would just like to have Rob or Alan or Doreen talk a little bit about what the status of the club is right now. Basically not really post-COVID, but where are you now? Are you open now? Full capacity?
We're completing some, a little inside improvements, and we have an expected open date of August 2nd. Is that right? August 2nd.
at first, the governor had put in August that we would be open again. So I just kept it at that. And like I say, we're doing some we finishing painting inside, replacing carpet tiles, stuff like that. So
So we're
August,
already booking, some, a dance and some things, so we're looking forward to reopening.
We also did some major plumbing repairs too, behind the bar that hadn't been addressed in years. So, yeah, we'll be in good shape when we open.
Any outdoor activities?
Like horseshoes?
what's that?
Horseshoes,
Not yet, no.
but that will all start up, cornhole league and horseshoe league.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
anything else? Going once, okay, going twice. Okay, seeing none. Anybody have a question? Just ask about it. Okay, seeing that, I'm gonna close it and look for a motion.
I'd like to make that motion, Justin.
Okay,
Accept
make
that.
the motion, for
The 83,000, whatever the
150.
revised number was.
150.
I'll second it.
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Second.
Sean.
Thank you, Bill.
We are very grateful.
Wait a sec. Let me
Haven't voted
finish.
yet.
Discussion. Seeing no discussion,
Well, yeah, that's actually, we do have historic funds to cover that.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
All right,
I,
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
congrats, guys.
Good luck.
Have a great
Hope you open
summer.
up July 1st instead of August.
Amen.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, with
Good luck.
that, we have a budget to approve. And just to let you know, Julie is moved. She's not moving her office. The mayor is having her moved. And she sent a budget. Actually, I think sent a budget. Here it is. Thank you, Dan. Dan is going to bring up. Dan is sharing a budget with us. Julie, Julie? Want to
Yes, I'm
unmute?
here.
Okay.
Hi.
You want to explain your situation, please?
Sure. So we were told a few years ago that the basement of the government center is unsafe to be working down there. So the mayor is moving us up to the top floor. But when we went to check out the office, the carpeting there was a water leak for a while, and the carpeting looks about 30 or 40 years old. There are a lot of stains. So we're just concerned that there might be something growing under there, or who knows what. So we were looking to get it replaced. And it was suggested we use vinyl flooring. That way it's easier to clean and things don't get stuck underneath it, like mold. So we're waiting for a flooring company to come out to give us an estimate, but building maintenance was guessing it's be about $5,000 to $6,000.
Now, this would come out of the administration funds. So I would look to put a $5,000 in this year's budget for office furnishings, renovation, or what? Julie, you got to.
Oh, yeah, it's building furnishings is what auditing
Okay.
told me.
Well,
it could go under. It's
okay,
the
oh, let me-
last
I'm
item
sorry,
on
let me-
page 3.
oh, the next page. Oh, sorry.
Scroll all the way, go down one more page.
I'm sorry. I was trying to find it. Ah, there we are. Let me shrink this up a little here.
Yep, the very last item.
There you go. The last item.
Okay, there we go.
Now, Julie was going to take the part-time, the $5,000 we've had in there forever, but I suggested we leave it just in case we ever need an intern or something like that, and just add the $5,000 to our budget and that's why this is being presented to you, to quickly go through it to see if there's a discussion on it. So saying that, is there a discussion on the budget?
Let's see.
Bill Doyle here. Is there a number that CPA state rules or whatever allow to spend?
5% of the total.
So 5% of the total? And this would,
Yeah.
you say
Well,
5?
this is way below.
So it just as the French club came in with their thing and the church came in with their thing and the housing came in with their thing, whether it's a roof or a floor, you know,
And that's,
the same.
and the city doesn't have the money to do it. So and again, I'm not sure this will fly with the mayor, but Julie asked for it and she doesn't ask for much. So I don't.
Yeah, I say we do it and
Okay.
get it up the flagpole and see what happens.
Well, I also want you to go over the budget too, Bill, just to look at if there's any changes anybody wants, just take a quick peek. I went through it, but I'm just one person, so it's open for discussion.
So is that just the change of that's just one line item change? You're looking for
And she took out,
questions or concerns on all the line items?
we took out, Julie took out the equipment rental because we no longer rent the copy machine. We own it with, I think, Concom. So that's deleted. And I think that was the only other thing. Correct, Julie?
Correct. Right. That was it.
Okay.
Julie, do you get your step raised this year?
I did.
It's in there. I asked the same thing, Bill. Yeah, it was taken care of by the auditor's office.
All right. And is that enough?
We don't have a say on that.
We can put it in there, see what happens.
Happy with flooring.
I think we would have to go to the council for a change of classification on it, Bill.
Yeah.
So. Any discussion,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Do we, have we done any environmental studies or surveys or added any conservation restrictions? I don't.
We have not, and we have done some, in the past, we've done actually the survey we did for
Yeah.
the Armory,
Fernald.
and then
Fernald survey?
we've done, pardon?
The Fernald survey?
I believe that was this Fernal survey, we did one, and we also did the Armory. I believe we gave money for the Armory, and we
Right. the
also have
feasibility
done,
study.
we have also done a 21Es. So the answer is we've used the funds at some point.
So it's, I mean, I just wanted to make sure, it makes sense to me. I get what all that stuff is. I don't have any questions. I just feel like we haven't really talked about any of that stuff in our meetings. So I didn't know if we'd used a lot of that money over the years. So
We're still waiting for the law department on the conservation restrictions. So,
Check. Which
Dan,
actually brings up a point of that, something that we should be old business to discuss about, is trying to get some more movement on conservation restrictions. And in that light, is there a chance we can add something to the budget for hiring consultants? Is there anything about?
Absolutely.
It may be the case that we need, as the CPC, trying to make sure we get these CRs done, that we have to hire consultants to help the law department. I mean, I'm just being frank about.
We had talked about that before, and it's got to go through the law department. That's part of the problem, Dan.
For sure, but as far as getting a consultant that we hire with administrative funds to help steer the law department to get the CRs done. That's what's in my head as far as trying, because otherwise it's another year is going to go by, and another year is going to go by, and another year is going to go by.
We have the option of adding that, increasing that budget item. So the answer to that is yes, we do have the ability to do it. And if you want to do it now, that's fine. But if I don't, we could, if need be, if we didn't have it in there, we could take from surveys or something like that and add it to that if we were short. If you want to add it, that's fine. But in equipment and unusual, we could take, we've got, let's see, 110,000, it looks like, in that account. So
Right.
if we could swap around, if you want to add to the account, we could do that also. I'm not sure. In all honesty, Dan, I have talked to the law department and talked to them, and I will do it again. I hate to say it, but my feeling is it may be the Commonwealth that has to do the talking at some point in time. It kind of like the railroad crossing.
No, for sure. Well, that's where it gets filed, and obviously, it has to. The buck does sort of stop there, and maybe the buck can come out of the state somehow. Well, if conservation restrictions, 50,000, that some of that presumably could be for a consultant, or like you say, we can move.
No, it's for consultants or anything else that's needed to do it.
So that was my
I just don't think
point I
it's
was trying to raise.
necessary.
Conservation
Go ahead, Bill.
restrictions is 100% a consultant thing.
Yep.
What that number is for.
So I don't think we have to increase it, but if you want to, it would be up to the board, up to the committee to do. We'd have to vote on it. That's all.
So if we don't increase it now, we can't increase it later?
Well, we can't increase it until our next budget would be a year from now, but
Okay.
we could borrow from another, like appraisals or environmental studies that could come out of that we could take from that.
Okay. All right.
We couldn't go anywhere else, and we couldn't get it from general expenses or something like that. As long as it's in the same classification, we can transfer from one account to the other.
Okay. Well, if I don't know what to say. I would say since we can add more to the budget now, I would say add some more now, and if we don't use it, we don't use it, and just in case that happens. So I don't know, add another $20,000 to conservation restrictions. I mean, there's a lot of things that need conservation restrictions.
Well, I don't disagree, but now you're cutting your general funds by 20,000 also, because that's going to come out of the general. What doesn't get allocated goes to general funds that we borrow. We take general funds to fund other projects that, let's say open space has got $0 in it now. We could use general funds for that, just to and again, this is just this is just for information.
Right.
A strategy may be to up appraisals, surveys, and conservation restrictions 5 or 10% each, and present that to the mayor and to the city council, knowing that they'll try and thin them out, because they'll look at them all and say, well, you haven't spent any of it.
The thing
Why are you
is,
going to spend any
Bill,
this year?
the thing is, Bill, all they do is vote on the bottom line, because this doesn't come out of general funds at all. So all they're going to see is bottom line and say, okay, believe me, the first couple of years they looked at it, and once they found out.
Romar, the accountant's not there anymore. He is
actually
on every line item.
it started with Kenny Doucette. That's how long ago it was. So anyway, it's your choice, folks.
Well, the up 10% on each of those, or that works for me too. I don't want to get too frustrated, but since I've been on this committee, there hasn't been one conservation restriction.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
agree. I don't disagree with you.
Okay,
that's a different discussion, because the
no,
money has always been there to do it.
One at
We've
a
just never done
time.
it.
Well, I know,
One at a time.
but maybe it's time. Maybe it's
One
time.
speaker at a time. Please.
Yeah.
All right,
Sorry, guys.
Dan, go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah, so it is a different discussion, and we should have that at the next meeting, probably that's September, unless we have a special meeting just for that. But anyway, we definitely do need to talk about that. But I'm good with upping everything 10%. If that works easily.
Bill,
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I think it is a different discussion. We've had the money there for years and we still don't have any conservation restrictions. So putting more money at it, unless there is some bottleneck that says 50 grand isn't enough to do a single one, then as we try and up it, that argument will not be received well. As far as upping 5 or 10%, I'm fine with that. My logic on things is they can't say no if you don't ask.
Yep.
So.
Okay, Erica.
Just put it together and present.
I think I'm
Oh,
going to
sorry.
argue that we leave it as is because I like nice round numbers. I'm wondering if the 50,000, this year is the year that we hire a lawyer with $50,000 to really, or hire a planner or whatever. I'm not even sure what kind of consultant we would need to get a handle on it so that we have a number for next year. If there is a backlog, I'm not even sure what needs to be done per se. So I guess I'm not necessarily arguing. I would vote for more if you guys want to do more, but I don't know that we need it at this point because we don't really know the scope of the problem. Unless someone does know the scope of the problem, and
Okay, Dan.
Yeah, so I guess we're getting into it a little bit. The scope of the problem is that the city's not doing much. They supposedly filed something. It was rejected by the state. And so if we hire a consultant to get the state and our lawyers together and have that, basically somebody that can spend the time and effort to make the state and the city get down and talk and get it figured out, because otherwise it's not going to happen. I agree with Justin. The state's going to have to be involved, and the city has to listen to the state. And we need a third independent person that knows all the rules and the laws to get them together and get this done. There's 2 CRs waiting to happen. So let's maybe this fiscal year coming up is the year that we actually hire someone to do that. So I will make a proposal for that.
All right, all right, what are you making? You're making a motion, Dan? Is that what?
Well, whether it's today or I guess it's time to. I feel like we should make I'd like to make a motion that we somehow find the right person, whether it's a lawyer or it's a planner or a planner lawyer,
Right.
knows
Okay.
all the rules. That is an independent person that we can get them to get the city lawyers to talk with the state and get this ironed out and so that we'll get some motion on it. It's just been too many years.
All right, I'm not sure that, you know what? Let me talk to Diana,
Okay.
because Diana she's typed the two restrictions up, and she's the one that's been frustrated, and she's the one that she really knows it, and her being a lawyer, I am opposed to increasing any of the budget. Right now, we've used very, very little of the monies that are in there. I don't think it looks good. And I agree with Bill, from a city point, if we increase it, not using it, until we start using it, then we can justify it. Right now, we don't have the justification as far as I can see.
It weakens our position if we have it there and you're standing up and you don't use it.
I agree.
Well,
So-
then that's fine. I don't need to increase it. I just want to use it.
Okay, and you bring up a good point. I will speak to Diana tonight or tomorrow, and the money is there for the consultant. She knows that I had asked her if she would be interested in being the consultant, and she said that she hadn't. This was a year ago. She hadn't had enough time off, but maybe now she has, and we can prevail upon her. Because she wouldn't have any conflict at all. So, and I'm not, I should, with the CPC, she may with the land trust, but we can cross that bridge when we come to it.
And Julie's got her hand up.
Julie, okay, sorry, Julie.
Do you want me to ask Stuart for advice?
Sure. I
Okay.
mean, I'll take advice from anybody at this point in time, because I've certainly talked to the city several times, and Diana has been an unbelievable resource. But I hate to bother her. But yeah, why don't we ask? That's a great idea, Julie.
Okay, I'll
And
call him
meanwhile,
tomorrow.
I'll ask Diana tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Now, Bill.
Yeah, so the strategy would be, or the advice would be, and this is what it will boil down to, I'm almost 900% sure, is we write an RFP for a consultant to do that work to the tune of $40,000. And we submit that RFP through purchasing to get prospective bidders on it. We get
Correct.
them back, and then we present that to city council and then the mayor. It's the only way that, the city council has to have something to say that this is how we're going to spend the money. And
I do not believe
denies or whatever.
I do not believe
What's that?
we
Just-
need that with the city council. I'd have to double check, but I don't believe we need the council's approval to spend that money. We need the council's approval to put the money in there. But that from what you say, that would mean we'd have to go to the council anytime we spent advertising or printing expenses, or that is what that
Only-
money is for, to run that department.
Only above a certain, when it clicks above a certain amount, I don't know if it's 10 or 15, Julie may remember. It's got,
You've got to have bids. You've got to have bids.
Yep.
You don't have to give council approval.
well, yeah, that's what I
That
mean.
you have
Like
to have
yeah,
bids, but
and all that.
not
Yeah,
council
but-
approval. What the council's approving this money as we
Already.
present it. We
Yeah.
spend it as we see fit with, as long as, like you said, if it's over, I think 25,000, it's got to have 3 bids or
Yeah.
or at least 3 bid things sent out. So,
So
Okay.
the way to push it forward
Okay.
is to create the RFP to get that person to the
correct.
$2,000, and then we run with that. That's how you do it.
Correct.
That sounds good. And maybe Diana would be helpful in writing the RFP.
Yeah. And now that's why I'm going to speak to Diana tomorrow.
Okay,
All right.
sweet.
Anybody
That's
else?
great.
Anybody else? Oh, okay, on the disbursements, Dan, you and I spoke before. Dan wanted to know when the funds are gonna be available if we deplete a fund. Say, right now, open space, we have no money. We can vote the funding for it prior to the fiscal year. So we could vote, like today we voted for Waltham Housing. We may be short of that money. However, as of July 1st, the money is available coming in from the city. We get disbursements twice, sometimes more than twice a year. But the city disbursement generally comes in mid-October to the end, and the state disbursement generally comes in 1st of November to the 15th of November. So there are 2 disbursements that you can actually. So somebody saying something?
Justin, you were freezing up. We missed your last
Okay,
10 seconds.
It says my internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay. The funding comes in twice a year, and that's the city funding, which is the bigger portion, comes in October 15th to October sometime to the end of October. The state funding comes in the 1st of November to the 15th of November. The city is the biggest portion of the funding, and the state is the smaller. Now, sometimes the state will, like, come the end of this year, they may have last year they had an overage in the state funding. This year, I doubt with COVID, they're going to have any money at all. So there'll be no money dispersed. But last year we did get a disbursement from the CPA. So that came in June, I believe. Correct, Julie?
It was sometime over the summer, yes.
Okay, so anyway, so make a long story short, when we have no money, we can still fund it and borrow against the next fiscal year. So as long as it's reasonable. I mean, right now, we look to have, I'm approximating, we should have someplace between a minimum of 4 to 4.5 million coming in. next fiscal year. So I hope that's answered any and all questions. Dan?
Well, the only question is, so then, in fiscal year 2022, is the ability to look at fiscal year 2023.
Correct. Hopefully it would be, yes. But
Okay.
hopefully you're not, I mean, we're now in, we're still in 2021,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, so yeah, come July, we could talk about that if all of a sudden we have huge fundings.
Right.
Okay. And any other questions? Did I take care of everything so far? Okay.
We just need to vote on the proposed budget.
Oh, yes,
That's,
right.
that's just what so we're all, everybody is, Erica, did you?
I was gonna say, I make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I will second it.
Bob LeBlanc seconds it. Any discussion? I don't think there will be, but okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, now the last thing on the agenda is next year's meetings. September 14th, October 5th, and November 16th, if that's okay with everybody.
Yep.
At this point, it's too far in the future to say
And
no.
that's exactly it, but that's the, I should say tentative, but that's
Sorry,
what
I
we're gonna
put
put
on
it.
November 14th, 16th. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But you just put them in your calendar now, and then everyone else has to work around those dates.
There you go.
Exactly.
So, with that,
Well,
I
actually,
think- Go ahead.
just to bring up the discussion whether or not we're staying in the virtual world, or will it?
well, I can't answer that because I don't, Erica? Erica?
Yeah, actually, we've been talking about this a lot in Framingham. There's pending legislation that would allow us to continue to meet virtually. But the current legislation expires in the middle of June. So we'll have by September, we'll have direction on whether we
Right.
need to meet
Okay.
virtually, whether we can meet virtually or whether we need to meet in person. And I guess the question, do we need to decide as a group tonight whether we would prefer, which one we would prefer if we have an option? That might be something that.
Well, we can certainly take the vote. We've got everybody here. So we can hear, Julie, if you got a pencil or paper, you're
I'm
up,
up, yeah.
Erica.
Go ahead.
Erica?
I would, I mean, I'm open to whichever, like, we all live here, so it's not a big deal, but it is nice to be able to meet from my basement. And I would say, I don't know how others feel, but I would move that if we do have the option to continue to meet virtually for the next few months, that we at least consider it for these next 3 meetings if we can. Should I make a motion to that effect?
No, let's hear from everybody, okay?
I second. I mean, I'm with Erica for the same concept.
Okay, next.
I'm good with that.
Amanda's next. Amanda?
I agree with that
Okay.
concept. I like that until,
Okay,
we can revisit it in the winter.
okay. Tommy?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Bob LeBlanc?
I'm okay with it. I would prefer to meet in person.
You're a people person. Bill Doyle?
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Loretta?
I think through the end of the year, to be on video is fine with me.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Sean?
Done.
Yeah, I'm happy with remote for the foreseeable future, or as long
Okay.
as it can be.
Tentatively, we'll do it. I'm with Bob. I would like to see everybody, but I am fine remote also, especially after October. I'm down south, so I guess that's a wrap. I want to thank you all for the.
Justin, I have one thing,
Go ahead.
if I could.
Absolutely.
I missed last meeting, and one of the counselors was upset with our vote for Leland. Not so much for the allocation, but because of the traffic studies and whatnot. But I can't help but think that that's not opposition.
It
on
isn't.
the
And
board.
that was Joey LaCava, and I explained that to him.
Well, I didn't know if it was. I thought there was another counselor. Is it 4? I don't know, but I don't think opposition on
It
this
is,
board
it absolutely is
not to
not.
worry about the
It
impact.
is
in the city. It's-
absolutely not.
It either makes business sense or it
That's-
doesn't make business
That's the
sense.
traffic commission's job.
Or
and
the
it's
city
not-
council or whatever.
Well,
you
it
know.
goes to traffic commission first and then council.
Right.
So you're
But
100% right, Tom.
Not even just traffic, but anything that doesn't have to do with the money end of it, which I think is opposition, our job here. So I
Correct.
was taken aback by that. And I just didn't know the board's feelings on that. I mean, again, I wasn't here in May, but I just didn't left a lousy taste in my mouth that, we're not, that's not our job here.
I will say, I wasn't thrilled, okay? I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So
Yes, but Dan-
when we're making decisions, we're making decisions on whether it makes business sense or not.
Correct,
Not improvements or disprovements on the.
correct. Dan,
Yeah, and from the last meeting also, Tom, Councilor Durkee did bring up that, getting the ward counselor getting notified early on. So that's actually one of the things that we're talking in the ad hoc committee, and that's why I brought up.
let me explain.
That should be the applicant.
Let me explain my position on that. That's the petitioner's responsibility.
That's
It
the
is
applicant,
not
not
this
ours.
board's.
Correct.
If the petitioner wants to, it's up to the petitioner to inform the city councilor. It is not this board's. This board just listens. We're not soliciting. We're not soliciting. The city clerk is paid to do that kind of stuff. So if they want that, it is not this board's position to go out and solicit jobs or inform councilors.
Oh, well, I'm not saying we should do it.
Okay, all right.
Oh, no. I'm just saying that we should have the applicant do it.
You can suggest to the applicant.
Yeah.
Again, there's nowhere in our,
Whole scope. That's not our scope.
yeah, exactly it. I mean, and actually, if the petition is smart, they'll get the counselor on. But again,
Absolutely.
it's not. So, hey,
Well,
Yeah,
ultimately,
that's the
ultimately,
stuff
the
that's-
city council, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I think we're probably gonna say the same thing. Whoever the
Ultimately-
special permit granting authority is gonna review that stuff. It's not our job.
exactly,
Correct.
correct.
So
Site
the,
plan review, it's separate.
Okay, I just that bothered me the whole 2 months. I just want to get out in the open.
I'm glad
That's
you
not
did.
weird to do.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Well, I'd like to, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you all. Have a great summer.
Oh.
Be safe and see you in the fall.
Wait, yeah, I haven't heard anything whether or not we got reappointed.
Hey,
Sorry, Dan, you're off.
Mike, let me explain something. My crystal ball rolled off the desk, smashed. I have no idea. I would say
Okay,
based on past, let me tell you one thing, Dan, okay? I'm on the Board of Survey and Planning. I was
Yeah.
appointed 2005. I have never been reappointed. Okay?
Okay.
there is a catch-all in the regulations that says if you're not reappointed, you're automatically
Oh,
reappointed.
actually, just to let you know, you were reappointed. They did vote on that. I do remember that. You were all reappointed because there was a committee for it. Randy was on it and 2 others, and you were all reappointed. So thank you very much for your service.
oh, okay.
Thank you.
And actually, that was told to me informally. I never got official notification, but again, Dan, thank you for hosting, and Julie,
My
thank you for
pleasure.
hosting, and everybody, thank you again.
I better take that quiz again about what to not say and say.
Whatever.
Well,
See
we
you
can all go to
later.
the French
All
American,
right.
we can
Bye.
go, we can go to the French
Bye.
Club and get
Thank
$59.
Okay.
Anyway, see you guys.
All